Welcome back to Crownspiracies, the podcast where pageantry gets personal. Each week we're unwrapping the sparkle, the stories, and the secrets behind the crown. I'm Katie and I'm here with Chrisanne, and we're back with another episode of Crown-fessions. And this one is all about how certain organizations, which we're not going to say the names of anybody, certain organizations and their shadiness, their funny business is causing harm for everybody in the space. As far as things like overpromising and under-delivering on prize packages and funny business with judges and selection committees. And no, I'm not referring to a specific organization when I say selection committees. There's a lot of organizations that use that term and that phrase where they're basically saying we're picking somebody. So a lot of different back end things and shadiness that go into why the rest of us are getting a bad rap at the end of the day. So, Christine, you want to kick it off first?
Yes. So one of the most commonly asked questions that I get asked a lot, and usually it's from people outside of the industry asking if pageantry is still relevant. And there are so many, I mean, it's a yes and no answer. Unfortunately, yes, because I see the lives of some girls transform from being involved in pageantry and they become their best selves. They become the most confident version of themselves. But then so many girls quit pageantry early because of foolishness and nonsense that happens, whether it be through competition with each other or from the pageant systems themselves. So today we're just going to briefly talk on this. And please, if you do have stories, I've had so many people come to me. These are all stories that are legitimate. And I've had so many people come to me since starting the podcast, giving me all of this information that sometimes you wish you didn't know, because now I understand why the industry is shrinking the way that it is. And some of the foolishness that we see um, really is damaging. So, like I always say, there is room in this industry for everyone, and I never root for someone to fail. However, if you are going about things the wrong way, you're damaging us all. For example, one system that has come three different people about the same system. I'm not naming the system, so don't, if you're here for that, wrong podcast. Um, that you have this director who promises. There's always something that comes up, and she either doesn't show up to things or doesn't give you what she says she's going to give you, and that's just the end of it. And then at the end of the day, when you're crowning your successor, she doesn't speak to you. And then she's all gung ho and ready for the next group. So that's very damaging, and that's just one of the examples that I've had three people for the same system confirm the same stories.
Yeah. And it also, from our perspective, because we've also personally experienced this as far as overpromising and under-delivering, it's not just about overpromising like in quantity, like, oh, you're going to get X, Y, and Z, and you only get X, right? It's about overpromising as far as what the trip is supposed to be about. Like, for example, a system that we both competed in, overpromised on a vacation. This was not a vacation that we went on. It was a work trip. We had zero free time. We had maybe one night that there wasn't a scheduled event, scheduled photo shoot, scheduled this. And it's like, what I thought I was going on a vacation. I thought I won a vacation. Like that was how it was positioned to me of, hey, I'm getting this luxury 5 day, 5 night, whatever it was, 5 day, 4 night vacation to, I think it was Mexico. It was not that. It was photo shoot, photo shoot, photo shoot all day long. Next
This
to the
activity,
pool.
that activity, this
Yeah,
activity.
next. The photo shoot was next to the pool, but was I in it? No.
No.
So it was not a vacation. So when we say over promising and under delivering, that's what we also mean as well. Because I mean, and again, it just goes to show the damage that that can do for other systems in the space. Because there are a lot of organizations that do give away, not just us, and what we're talking about here, but there are other organizations that do give actual vacations. Like we give, if you know us and internationally named this, we give five paid trips. And there are times that, and we're very transparent with that, there are going to be parts where you're working on this trip, right? There's going to be like the Orlando trip that you guys just went on. There's photo shoots all day on one day, but then the next day is all in Disney. And there are photos that happen there, but you're still getting to enjoy the park and you're still getting to enjoy your time there. Our all-inclusive vacation to a destination out of the country, that is a vacation. People bring their families every single year. Grandma, Auntie Sally, Uncle Bill, whoever you want to bring them. and you get to actually enjoy your time with them. We don't do anything really related to, except for a couple pictures next to the gifts that you're given on that trip. That is solely for you to enjoy. That's the biggest thing that I feel like a lot of people kind of question, at least from what I've seen, that they question of what we actually do. Like, is it really a vacation? Is it really all expenses paid? Yes. And we're transparent about what you actually have to pay for yourself. That we're very transparent with that, both to you and beforehand, like to the rest of the audience, if you will, of what we cover, and then what is the only part that you have to cover yourself.
I think something that's also a little bit like I call it smoke and mirrors, but like I think there are plenty of systems where, let's just use Disney as an example, because that's where a lot of different systems go. And it's a great place to bring a group of people because there's interest for everyone. You have roller coasters, you have the more mellow rides. It's a great place to bring a group of individuals together. Um, if you were just honest, so for example, if you bought the tickets for the park, that's a prize. Thank you so much. Because tickets are not cheap. If you just did that for me, thank you so much. If you did the ticket and lunch, thank you so much. That's it. That's a icing on the cake. But to post as if you're the one buying all of the um what do you call them? Souvenirs, all of the snacks, and you're not doing that, that's a lie. And it's very um uh the word I'm
Misleading.
looking misleading to those watching. So for example, when girls go into the luxury stores and they're holding up the luxury bags and you only got a certain amount of money toward whatever's in that bag, that's smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We need to stop doing that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, they got a gift card to, I'm going to use Fendi because I've never seen anyone go into Fendi. We're giving them $250 to go into Fendi and have at it. That is
Yeah.
the truth. And that is a great prize. But lying and watching them walk out with a giant Fendi bag when only $250 of that is covered, that's misleading.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people it's again, and this is just the direction that unfortunately pageantry has gone lately. It's become who can outdo the next person. It's become a competition of who can do it better. It does not have to be that way. That is not what this is about. And if the girls that are representing your organization, if you feel that way of like, oh, I have the best prize package, if your winners are only looking to see what is the best prize package I can get, those are not great representatives. I'm just going to say it. Those are not the girls that you want to be representing your organization. You want the girls that are genuinely looking to make a difference in the lives of others. That's who you want to be representing your organization. And it should not be about what can I get? What am I going to win? What am I going to get out of this? So there's nothing like people need to stop looking at what they are doing for the girls. Like you said, a gift card or, buying the tickets to Disney. Like that is a gift. That is something that they won and that they achieved and that you provide them. That should still be enough. Like that shouldn't be what people are looking for as far as like why they should be considering a system to compete in. It should be about what does this organization stand for? What do they look for in their title holders? What values do they hold in their system? Not am I going to get X, Y, and Z out of it? So it has to come back. It has to come back to just what are we teaching the girls that are competing in our system, and what are we standing for, and now what are we giving as far as
Right.
the prize package.
And if you are going to post something as far as prize package, so for example, I see this a lot during Christmas time. You'll see like giant spreads of gifts, but what you're not realizing is 10 of those gifts in that giant pile are provided by your sister queens. We don't do that when we're posting the pictures of everything. We make sure that, okay, this is from us. And now we've gotten even to the point where, okay, this was covered. This will say it right in the post. This was covered. This was covered. Their tour was covered. The bus was covered. We make sure that, okay, like because there are so many instances where you think that something is being done and it's actually not. I know systems where they would upcharge the parent to stay in the house, and that, like, we don't charge the parents to stay in the house. So I just want to be very clear, like that is part of the problem of why the pageant industry is shrinking. Um, like I said, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. That one of my biggest pet peeves and one of the most difficult things as a director, when my mom was alive, she would reiterate what I'm saying to you. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea, and I would go out to her like, "Mom," wake her up, and she's like, "Listen, maybe like put a notepad next to your bed and not like bother me in the middle of the night because like I love your idea, great idea, but like I need to get some sleep." So here we are really trying. And I know there's so many other directors in the same situation where we're putting everything into this. We're putting, I mean, every ounce of our creativity into something, and then 2 seconds later, it's cheaply copied. I mean, look at the teddy bear sweatshirts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even as far as like, prize packages and certain things that have been now included in other places. And it's like, we're not all in competition with each other. It does not have to be this way. There, like you said before, there's room for everybody in the space and there's room for everybody in this industry, in this world. It should not be a competition of who can outdo the other person. It should be, a collaborative effort here, as far as supporting women and girls into becoming better individuals and better people in the world. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of shadiness too, as far as the principles that people hold behind the scenes when it comes to how they instruct their judges or don't instruct their judges and just choose people. That's another harmful piece of this industry of we're we're putting out there that we want women and girls to be their most authentic selves on stage and we want them to really show who they are as people on the inside, and then we're going and picking them based on, it's like a popularity contest, either who has the most Instagram followers or who looks the best on camera or on a post or who's out there on social media the most active. Like, that's great, but if the extent of their positivity is only going as far as their Instagram caption, and then when you actually meet them in person, they're an evil witch, I think that needs to be a heavily reconsidered topic if your organization is focusing on just that. Because
Part
it's
of the
great
reason
when
we have
they,
secret judges.
yeah, I mean, it's great that they look polished out in public and they're active on social media to share that message. But if they're not a good person, I mean, it defeats the purpose.
Agreed. I think a lot of people are scared to talk about their experiences. I think that's a big problem within the industry because they're worried about being blacklisted. But at the same time, there's ways to do it like anonymously. And there's so many blogs and things that like would share things for you anonymously. And
Hmm.
there's so many like here's my thing. If you know that something is going down with an organization or a pageant system, wouldn't you want to prevent your friends from experiencing the same bit of hot mess that you experienced?
Hmm. Yeah.
And there are plenty of systems out there doing this for the right reasons. Again, we know so many of them. A thing to pay attention to, I think that's a good point. When you go to a system and not one of their former queens come back in any capacity, whether it be to watch or cheer on or even recompete, that's a red flag.
Hmm. Yep, I agree. Because why would they, if they had such a great experience, why would they not want to come back and do it again, or even come back and support and cheer on their friends or other people that are competing, or see who else enters into that legacy? I mean, that's the whole reason that we love to acknowledge our foremost former title holders at each. If you've watched any of our crowning shows before our finales, we introduce all of our alumni that are there that come to support for each division because we want to highlight the fact that we do have such a, we're building this legacy of strong women in the pageant industry and out in the world. We'd love to highlight that and we love to, show them. I mean, we also have lots of former title holders that come back and compete that are national or international winners, and they come back and compete as soon as they age up. So it just goes to show, and I think that's a great point of looking back to see what does the alumni support look like for an organization. It's very telling when you look at it that way.
Yeah. And if you don't see anyone supporting in the audience, even just coming and supporting in the audience, that's a red flag.
Hmm. Yep.
And that was one of the points that three of the people who complained about the one system told me too. I was like, yo, that's actually because if you think about it, like I'll never forget this summer at internationals, we had a like a cocktail party, little hors d'oeuvres and a chance for the girls to reacclimate themselves before getting announced during the alumni autograph signing. And we now know not to put that room next to the interview room because my goodness, did that room get loud because they're so excited to be back and to see each other and to be involved. And
Catch up with
that
each other and, chat amongst you. Like it's a very exciting time. And I love seeing the reaction of even when they see us after they haven't seen us in several years. I mean, we had one of our former title holders, she now lives in Germany. She flew in and surprised us. I mean, that in itself shows and speaks volumes for, and I'm not saying that every contestant needs to fly in unexpected, but like I'm just saying like that experience of having her surprise us because she wanted to come. Like she literally told me it was last minute. She booked the flight like the night before she left. She was like, I just couldn't not be there. Like that in itself is very telling as to the type of, and it's very, you know, fulfilling to hear that we're creating an organization that does foster such a sisterhood like that they want to come back and they will go to extreme lengths to get there to see their sister queens and to be back in our our environment and with our organization. I mean, I think that was very heartwarming for for us to hear that that's the experience that she had that has created just a sisterhood for her.
And also, too, I think we've been in the situation, but like how the directors and how the staff treat you is so important as well. I remember, I'll never forget when I was messing up the dance because I am not a dancer. I was messing up. I was royalty front and center, and the choreographer literally was like, "It's not about you anymore. You're embarrassing all of them, like quite literally in front of the whole entire group of people." So, that's one thing. Like things like that are red flags. Like you have to
Mhm.
understand we're doing everything that we're doing as directors, as staff, as whatever involvement you have in the industry, we're doing it for the girls competing.
Mhm.
And whether that be someone who's giving up a title after serving for an entire year and giving up an entire year of their lives to serve the organization, those people deserve their respect. The amount of times I've seen title holders disregarded during their farewell moment, terrible, because that person gave it a year of their life to you. Whether or
Mhm.
not you think they were the best title holder or not, that's not what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And also, as far as we talked a little bit about this on another episode about the Miss USA controversy and, you know, if you're being asked to sign an NDA, run the opposite direction because what are they trying to hide that they don't want you to speak out about? So, yeah, I hope for anyone that has had that experience of having to be silenced, that you are able to legally speak up for yourself one day, if you are in that situation. I mean, we've had the great pleasure of getting to know Cara Mund, who had her. If you know her and you know her story, you know what we're referring to as far as her experience as Miss America, and the year that she had. If you don't, I recommend going and following her on social media and doing your research to get all the specifics because I'm I'm not even going to try to generalize it because I know that there was so much that she shared with us and that she does share out in public about her experience and being a title holder and thankfully the Miss America organization is now turning the page on that type of leadership and that type of standpoint, I guess, of being more transparent and being in, being more fair to their title holders. I mean, I think that's a huge plus for them, A plus plus for them for making that change and for recognizing that, hey, this is an issue. And they did actually take action to rectify that. And now they're on the come up. I mean, Miss America for a while, people didn't really talk about the organization. They didn't really, I mean, it showed in just like the viewership of the event itself. Nobody really watched it. And now they're on the come up where a lot of people are paying attention again to the organization, which I think is great because they're supporting women in pageantry for the right reasons again.
But again, that goes to show you why you should speak up when there are injustices. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're salty or oh, they had their favorite. Like, there's a difference between being salty and having actual grievances
Mm-hmm.
that need to be changed to make an organization better because she stepped up, she said what she had to say, she stood on business, and then it was up to the organization to fix the problems. And guess what? They did. And it seems to me like whereas one system is taking a nosedive, literally, the other is on the uptick, which I love to see. We love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'd love to see pageantry coming back to what it's what it's meant to be about, and what it's supposed to be, and what it was. I mean, for years on end. I mean, I think, and we've also heard. I mean, we've had people share screenshots and forward us emails of messages and emails that they've sent to organizations to say, they haven't taken to social media to air their grievances, but they've reached out directly to the directors or the organization to say, hey, I'm sharing with you what my experience is to hopefully help you improve and grow as an organization. I mean, we always aim to be as transparent as possible. And I know that there are people that have different experiences, and we've heard all the stories of people's experiences with our organization. I hope, that if you're listening to this, if you've had a positive experience with us, but we also look for the transparency of, we want to hear what you feel maybe that you didn't like, or that you didn't, that you wish would be a little bit different. Like, we would love to hear the feedback on that. And we always do welcome that of, send us an email. I mean, granted, right after the international competition, bombarding us and hunting us down in the hallway and sitting outside the office, not the way to do it. But sending an email, we will always acknowledge it. We will get back to you in some capacity, even if it's just a thank you for sharing your experiences. We will take this into consideration with our event moving forward. There's no harm in sharing that, as far as giving an organization feedback to say, hey, I did have a good time. This is, however, what I felt could be improved as far as from a contestant perspective. Just sharing this with you for feedback. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's also a point too where there are certain situations where if something is happening during the event, you need to bring it to the attention of a staff member, because
Mm-hmm.
after the event, there is physically nothing we can do about that situation. Whereas and we have an open door policy, and I know a lot of systems do as well. And there are certain things that pageant systems do not want happening at their events. And if you would just come to the people while it's happening, it's something that could be, corrected,
Mm-hmm.
or rectified in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which, I mean, that's like one of my biggest grievances. I say it every single year. If you have an issue, come to one of us. If you have an issue, we're very nice. Despite my face, I'm very nice. Come to us. We want to help solve issues. Um, and there are times when things happen. For example, judges go rogue, or they don't leave comments, or they leave comments and you're like, that is not constructive. Or they talk to delegates in the hallway and it's an innocent thing, but like, you can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, if contestants would just come to us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and we may or may not cut this, but like, we had an instance this year where, a judge said something to a contestant that was taken out of context, as far as basically what was said was, hey, I hope that you come back next year. She left out the part of, like, in the event that this doesn't go your way, because the judges don't know. They are finding out at the same time. Like, we get all of their scores and we tabulate it. We do not tell them for that particular reason. We don't want them going up to anybody to say, hey, come back again next year. Would love to see you. Like, you did great. Like, we don't want that innocent support being done ahead of time, that it would then create, like, again, deflating someone's balloon before going into the final show. But like, there was an instance where she said, hey, I think you were great. I think you should come back next year. The contestant automatically took that as, I didn't win this year.
Right.
The judge did not mean it in that way. She meant, in the event that this does not go in your favor today and you don't walk away
Hey,
with
I
the
really
crown,
like you.
right, you should come back. She left that part out because she just was trying to be supportive. She really liked this contestant. She wanted to go out of her way to let her know that she really liked her, but it came out in a way of, this contestant then came to me and said, hey, I just had a really not great interaction. I just wanted to share this with you. And her and I talked about it and we addressed it right away. And I went and made sure that our judges coordinator then handled it with that judge to say, hey, no more talking to contestants before the final show, because that was taken completely out of context. And now I have this poor girl who thinks, and she didn't end up walking away with the crown, but she thought in that moment before the
I'm
finale
done.
show even started, that she didn't win. And
Right.
that's not the energy that we want someone going into the show with.
We had a similar situation, and I think we should send this to Holly first too, to make sure that we can say
Yeah.
this. But there was another situation where the judge was watching optional competitions, and now do we want them to sit in that optional room and watch? No, because they shouldn't have any exposure to the contestants before required events. And then she went up to the one of the delegates and her mom in the elevator and said, "Oh, I saw you in optionals. You were great." What should have happened in that very second was that delegate should have came to Holly or myself or any staff member at that point and said, hey, listen, like the judge was watching optionals and she said this to me. Um, because we had two judges, and now mind you, they don't have scores per se, as far as like they're not going into the judge's room and being like, you need to deduct points on that. They're coming to Holly and I with any issues, and if it's an issue that needs to be presented to a judge, we tell the judges, and then it's their discretion of what to do from that point forward. But we had two secret staff members. A lot of them, one hung out around the pool area and one was around like the ballrooms and the food places and all that. So all that we had two backup people that could have taken the spot of this one judge, and she could have just switched roles.
Mhm.
Had this person said something to us, and guess what? We find out after the fact, and there's literally nothing we can do.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we want to have a fair event. We don't want anyone to feel that we're being shady or that something wasn't like, we don't ever want that to be our reputation because we've had it done to us before. So
Yes.
it just goes to the main point of this whole mini episode of systems needing more transparency and more accountability for themselves, and rectifying when it needs to happen, as far as leadership, values, events, judges, all of that. I fully believe that there should be more transparency in this organization, in this industry, not this organization, because we're aiming to do the most here with
We're
that.
doing everything we can to break the stereotypes here.
Yeah, I think that all, and again, it's not just us that is transparent. There are several other organizations that are doing this for the right reason, and we've, are aiming to build up women and girls and be transparent because of that. But the ones that aren't, and the ones that are still under the shady old coconut tree, stop, please, because you're ruining it for the rest of us.
Stop. And also I think the delegates need to work with directors. First of all, I think the two of the group of us working together will make the industry better as a whole, but we need to stop supporting these systems that are doing these terrible things or not fulfilling promises, or that are being shady in different capacities, or like if the pageant's always running late, or if things are not organized, or sometimes not everyone is meant to be a director, and that's okay.
We need to all work together to hold systems that are bringing the reputation of the industry down accountable, and to make sure that if they are going to continue as an organization, that they fix their transparency.
So yeah, I think is the industry dying? I think it's revivable, but we're heading in the downslope if we don't get our stuff together, especially with the media attention surrounding pageantry right now as a whole.
Mhm.
It's very sad. I mean, we have the perspective of the toddlers and tiaras. We have what's going on with Miss USA. We have other stuff that has gone on throughout the years, and it's really hurting the industry as a whole. And there is so much relevancy and so much positive in this industry. I think that we need to really just the directors that are doing this for the right reasons continue to do it for the right reasons. It's about the girls. It always is about the girls. I said to Holly the second we started this organization that the second that it stops being about the girls is the second we quit. And stop supporting the systems that are shady.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a something to be said about accountability in today's day and age, not just in our industry, but in general, of go directly to the source. Go direct to be like, hey, listen, I'm not the only one that feels this way, but I'm the only person that's going to speak up. This is what the conversation surrounding your organization is. I do with this information what you will. I hope you rectify it. A polite conversation can be had when it comes to speaking to an organization to help them take accountability for whatever they have going on. I think there's a polite way to do it. It doesn't mean you have to go directly to social media to air out your
Your
grievances,
grievances.
because that can come off in a really different way of what your intention might be. Go directly to, send them an email. Hey, I just wanted to see if you had time for a phone call that I can talk to you about my feedback and feedback that I'm hearing from other people as well. I really just want to bring it to your attention that this is the reputation of your organization. There's a polite way to have that conversation. And I think that that's what needs to happen. And if, systems after hearing that feedback continue to do what they do that's shady and not ethical, then that's when we need to start, as an organization, as an industry, not support those types of organizations. But again, everybody everybody deserves a comeback chance. And if they can make up for it and change their ways and take that feedback seriously and actually do something about it, I think that's worth supporting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think let's just use a random number. Let's say 10. Let's say you're 10 years old like IUM is, and 9 out of your 10 years you have issues. I think it's time to close up shop.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yep.
I think that it's by continuously supporting organizations that are not giving out a good experience, we are ruining the industry for everybody. So, do the right thing, directors. The ones that are, we see you and we appreciate you. And again, I think this is a revivable issue. I think if we all work together, and always a respectful conversation as opposed to social media drama, for sure.
Yeah. And if you have your own stories that you want to share, your Crown-fessions, be sure to email it to crownspiracies@gmail.com. If you want to stay anonymous, please do include that. But we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your perspective on it, wherever you are and whoever you are, about this particular topic and just overall shadiness in the pageant industry and some thoughts on how we can, revive this state of pageantry into a positive one. But for now, I think that's all we've got. But this has been another episode of Crownspiracies. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Subscribe so you get that notification whenever we drop a new episode, Thursdays at midnight. And yeah, like we said, if you got a Crown-fession, send it in. We'd love to hear from you. But for now, we'll see you next week under the lights. Keep your head high and your crown higher. Bye.
Bye.